Most men collapse after marriage. Not immediately, not in the honeymoon phase, but slowly. They lose their discipline, their ambition, their masculinity. It happens quietly, like rust eating through iron. The body goes first, then the mind, then the soul. They stop training. They stop leading. They stop living as men. They think marriage means, I've won. I can finally relax. But here's the truth. Marriage isn't the finish line. It's not the trophy. Marriage is the beginning of a harder war. And sadly, too many men lose themselves in it. But Stoics don't collapse. They don't hand over their identity. They walk into marriage with their discipline intact. They understand that love doesn't erase responsibility. It multiplies it. This is why men fall apart after marriage, and why Stoics don't. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why the average man crumbles, and how you can be the kind of man who thrives in marriage without losing yourself. Let's start with the comfort trap. When a man is single, he fights, he trains, he works, he improves himself to attract, to compete, to survive. But once he wins a woman, too many men stop. They think, she's mine now, mission accomplished. And so, the gym becomes optional, the ambitions shrink, the fire dims. This is why you see men in their 30s and 40s with big bellies, dead eyes, and lives on autopilot. Here's the Stoic truth. Life is never won. Life is constant training. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his meditations every night while ruling an empire. Why? Because he knew the mind rusts when it's not sharpened. A Stoic man never lets comfort seduce him. Even in marriage, he treats every day as a battlefield. He trains his body. He disciplines his thoughts. He sharpens his character. That's why his wife never looks at him with disappointment. Because deep down, women admire men who don't collapse into comfort. The weak man thinks marriage is the end of the war. The Stoic man knows it's just the beginning. Another reason men fall apart is identity loss. Many men build their entire life around being a husband or father. Now don't misunderstand me. Those roles are noble, necessary, and beautiful. But when that becomes your only identity, you're fragile. If your wife is unhappy, your whole world crumbles. If your kids grow up and leave, you feel empty. You've put your entire sense of self in the hands of others. The Stoics warned against this. Epictetus said, "You may be unconquered by everything outside, but conquered by yourself." A Stoic man knows your core identity must never be negotiable. You're not just a husband, not just a father. You're a man on a path of virtue, discipline, and strength. That's why Stoic men don't panic when tested. They love deeply, but they never abandon themselves in the process. Because the moment you give up your identity, you give up your respect. And once respect is gone, love soon follows. Here's another trap: emotional weakness. Marriage will test you. Arguments, financial stress, criticism, even betrayal. A weak man breaks under these pressures. He lashes out. He begs. He sulks. He collapses. But the Stoic man? He remembers, I cannot control her words, her moods, or her choices. I can only control myself. This is what makes him unshakable. When insulted, he stays calm. When tested, he stands firm. When criticized, he listens without being destroyed. That's why Stoics don't fall apart. Because they don't put their emotions in someone else's hands. They love their wives. They care for their families. But they never surrender their frame. Now let's talk money, one of the biggest reasons marriages collapse. Many men get crushed under financial pressure. Bills, debts, responsibilities. A weak man buckles. He blames the economy. He blames his wife. He blames life. He becomes bitter, resentful, or numb. The Stoic man? He doesn't complain. He accepts responsibility. He sees financial struggle as training. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." Instead of drowning, he sharpens his skills. He learns discipline with money. He focuses on building, not whining. And because of this, his family trusts him. His wife respects him. When life gets heavy, most men break. But Stoics treat the weight as a gym. and every burden only makes them stronger. Here's the harsh truth. Women lose attraction when men lose discipline. It's not about money. It's not about looks. It's about edge. The masculine edge that says, I can handle life. I can lead. I can protect. I can grow. When a man gives up that edge, he becomes invisible in his own home. His wife nags because she no longer trusts his leadership. She tests him because she feels his weakness. And he fails those tests over and over again until the marriage is just two strangers living together. The Stoic man never loses his edge. He doesn't become passive. He doesn't hand over his manhood in exchange for peace. He stays sharp. He stays disciplined. He stays strong. That's why Stoic men are respected, desired, admired, because their wives can feel it. This is a man who cannot be broken. So how does a Stoic see marriage? Not as possession, not as a trophy, but as a partnership aligned with virtue. He doesn't love out of need. He loves out of choice. He doesn't collapse into his wife's moods. He grounds her with his strength. He doesn't beg for respect. He commands it by how he lives. Daily, he trains his mind, his body, his soul, because he knows marriage isn't the end of his growth. It's the ultimate test of it. So why do men fall apart after marriage? Because they stop living as men. They stop training, stop growing, stop leading. But Stoics don't. They understand that marriage is another battlefield of self-mastery. And if you want to be the kind of man who never loses his edge, who earns respect without begging for it, who loves deeply without being broken by it, then you must live stoically, because marriage doesn't make you a man. Discipline does. Strength does. Virtue does. And without those, you will fall apart. With them, you will rise above. If this resonated with you, subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. This channel is for men who refuse to collapse, men who are building themselves into unshakable warriors in life, love, and marriage.